Welcome to NBC News Daily this Wednesday. We start with a powerful earthquake in Russia that triggered tsunami alerts across the Pacific. Right now, downgraded advisories are still in effect for Hawaii, parts of Alaska, and most of the West Coast. Officials are warning people to stay away from beaches at risk areas, brace for surging waves and tidal swells.
We saw some boats kind of laying on the dry rock and sand. That gave us pause. That doesn't happen for no reason. When the water pulls back like that, that means there's activity in the ocean.
This was one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded. The powerful 8.8 magnitude tremor starting in Russia's far east coast and then felt inside an active operating room there. You can see that doctors were trying to stabilize their patient as the room shook around them. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is following the latest for us from Santa Monica, California. Morgan, good to see you. So a large portion of California's northern coast still under that tsunami advisory. What are officials telling people to do?
Yeah, Vicki, they're telling folks to stay out of the water, even if you're in a place like Santa Monica where that advisory has been lifted. There is still a real potential for a dangerous current up and down this coastline here, Vicki. And that is why we are seeing a lot of precautionary measures being taken by officials today, not just here on the West Coast, but also in Hawaii as well. We've seen reports of localized flooding there. The governor overnight confirming that it does appear that they avoided the worst of this tsunami threat. But there is still a threat that remains. That said, the sun is out. Plenty of people are on the beach. There's not a lot of folks in the water here, Vicki, but it's still early over here on the West Coast. And so we'll be keeping a close eye on conditions. As you know, there is still a risk of aftershocks from that massive quake as well. And so that's certainly top of mind, I think, for a lot of emergency management in and around this specific area that was really all simultaneously put on threat alerts when that massive 8.8 quake took place.
Yeah, Morgan, I mean, to your point there, people were in that emergency state, islands across the Pacific as well, that were waiting for these big waves to hit. Do we know if there was any serious damage or injuries from any waves?
Well, we've certainly seen videos start to trickle in, Vicki, overnight and in the early morning hours. We know that from a geographical standpoint, near the epicenter of that quake, there was some cliffs that kind of gave way, some boulders that rolled down near that Kamchatka part of Russia. However, in Hawaii, it was a different impact. We're not seeing the traditional tsunami wave so much as we're seeing localized flooding, something that would be slightly more powerful than what they've witnessed during what they call king tides with high water in certain areas there. We believe that the Big Island, which is the least protected per se, took the brunt of some of those more powerful waves. And then up north here in a rural part of California, Crescent City saw about a 3.5-foot wave here, Vicki, but no reports of any damage here on the West Coast itself.
That's an incredible video. All right, Morgan Chesky live in Santa Monica. Morgan, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.